Bears last stand, the Saban's empire. We built the league, broke the mold, and rewrote the code. Crimson Tide, unstoppable, undeniable, untouchable. 7-9 champs, goal line stand. Barry Cross made Penn State fold their hand. Chile ran, Ogilvie danced. Sugar Bowl glory, banner advance. Ray Perkins brought Bennett's wrath. 3-time All-American cleared the path. Bill Curry's crew, Siren Stacy's fire. Deep steep crown, Crimson never tired. Gene Stallings, 92 rain. Teague stripped Miami, left them in pain. Jay Barker Lassick, Odin Tide. Langham locked down, Thorpe took flight. We're nothing but a winner. The best to ever do it. Crimson Tide rolls deep. No one cannot do it. Built for the lights, bred for the fight. We don't chase greatness, we define it right. Saban touchdown, turned fire to flame. 6 rings later, they chant his name. And Graham ran wild, first Heisman won. 2009, Texas came undone.
And welcome back to Tight Sports. Welcome back to Tight Sports on the Black Coffee edition on a slick Sunday morning. I'm just out here. I'm pleased as punch. The Lord has blessed us, and somebody has crunk up the truck and drove on over to Coach Kapilovic's house and said, "Hey, newspaper or peanuts? We got what you need. Cardboard boxes, everything." Welcome to Tight Sports, man. If you like this, having a good time, talking about the Tide, hey, hit the subscribe button. Because I'm giddy. I'm giddy as a schoolgirl. I'm just happy. Typically, I do not, as a father, husband, I don't cheer for another man's demise. I don't cheer for another guy's, for a guy to be, fired from his job. Unless you're talking about my damn Crimson Tide. Just crank the truck up, get your ass out of town. But I'm gonna just say this now. I just hope this is not deflection on behalf of Coach Kalen Deboer. Hey, year 2, making a little tweak, but you gotta go higher. If you don't go higher, we're looking at a coordinator. But year number 4, looking at your ass. Plain and simple, your ass. Get your black coffee. Yeah, black coffee, no sugar, no cream. Let's talk about it. Now, Kapilovic, Coach Cap, he came over here with a hell of a resume for somebody that never coached in the SEC. I mean, from the ACC, Big Ten, he had a pretty big name in recruiting, and he's produced some serviceable people for the NFL. But this is Alabama, man. You know what I'm saying? This is the trenches in T-Town, man. The standard starts inside of that nasty place where monsters roam around in there, man. This dragons. What's worse than this Kodiaks. It's Kodiak bears in that thing. Polar bears. Supposed to be a polar bear in front of my house, but no polar bears so far. Kodiaks in that doggone trench. What's something else that's pretty bad? Wildebeest? No. Them Amazon. Them Serengeti crocodiles. That's what's in that pit. You gotta be I have my opinion on whether I even talk about being the SEC dominant program anymore. But I'll say this, the NFL is still building trenches out of the SEC. Because, people do dynamic things when they're like 6'5", 330 pounds, and still doing cartwheel backhand springs, full splits, and running under 5 seconds in a 40. Or maybe 5'3". Amazing things. You got to be a special kind of person to be a very successful offensive line coach. And it's just a different person. I have friends that played over at Auburn for Rick Trickett. I don't know. Y'all hear the name. His son is out here coaching now. Rick Trickett was a very small man. He was a very small man. Go look at his resume, though. He about this big, but he was a Marine. And you know, once a Marine, always a Marine. Yeah! He used to get down in the pit with them people. They used to have some squabbles out there, too. I don't think that man ever reached 180 pounds. I mean, maybe in old age, but you got to be a special individual. And I just think that Coach Cap didn't understand what he was dealing with. You coming in with all this talent, or maybe they had him recruit too much, and you just sitting there like, I got 4s and 5s. I ain't never had 4s and 5s all the way across the board. And it wasn't really like that. You had some 3s in there. You had some walk-ons in there. Nobody got better. I guess, according to, you know, the stats, the numbers. This man was an architect at Chapel Hill. They had record-setting offenses. They got to have offensive line do that, right? Just, they have to. Somebody may have been drunk plays, but you ain't blocking, as we found out, you ain't going nowhere. He was there for 6 years. Went to Colorado. Went over there to, I don't know, he was in Colorado. But nobody doing it in Colorado in 2019, so I give him a pass because he don't stay there 1 year. He didn't just wallow in all that filthiness. Then he was at Michigan State, where he was the highest paid offensive line coach in the nation at one point. And for it being Michigan State, I'm still wondering, why the hell did they pay him so much? Why? Michigan State didn't even get any better. Even the guy that's running for Seattle today, Kenny Walker, he left Wake Forest, went there for 1 year, ran like he was crazy. I don't even think his offensive line really helped him that much. So I don't know what they were trying to get somewhere, but you know. And the man can recruit. They say he brought a lot of 4s and 5 stars, you know, like we was handing out flyers for him. You know, he's like, you know, come down and see us. You know, we're going to be down under the tent. We're going to have a tent revival for offensive linemen. Come on down. And he was good at that. But listen, man, SEC, especially Alabama, now, I still believes about the trenches. I don't know about the other positions. Recruiting is just like an appetizer. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yes, let's start out there with a couple 5 stars from IMG Academy, perhaps. But the meat and potatoes, I go back and forth sometimes. Do you need a great offensive line or a great defensive line? I am adamant when I say this. Now everybody may agree. This may not be no secret. You need an awesome offensive line. People rotate on defense. I think at one time, Saban, especially around the Pruitt time, and everybody now, they play like 7 to 9 linemen if you got them on the defensive line. On the offensive line, all year long, we've been talking about Alabama starting lineup, Florida State game and beyond. We've been playing 7 to 8, I think sometimes 9 offensive linemen. And I was like, that's cool. It's Florida State, but that's cool. You know, we don't really know, you know. And then the next 2 games, Wisconsin, you know, okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. And even though we beat Georgia, you're playing 8 linemen. I'm still like, because I'm just a fan. They don't sound right. They don't sound like it. What? And we ain't talking about just rotations. Oh, just give them a breather for these next 2. No. You're talking about quarters. You shouldn't have anybody in the game that you can miss for a whole quarter, I think. Isn't there communication, a cohesion, a leverage that you have by building that camaraderie, these guys? And then freshmen started for 6 games at right tackle. And I'm like, oh, hell, what? We still guessing. That's what I said. We still guessing. The offensive line, the start was the same for 6 games, but I don't know, get pissed and take somebody out. I look down, look at the numbers. Or really, you can look sometimes in the games, and this jersey was cleaner than that jersey. I'm like, where he come from? Oh, that's Cam Deboer. Cam Deboer was there. But Gino Vandermark, they put him in. And I'm like, what is this? Tell you what, didn't work. Didn't work. It didn't look good. And the numbers don't lie. When you roll the tape and you look at it, you don't get any comfort. We're talking about a unit that looked more like a revolving door than a brick wall. If you got a solid brick wall, if I push it over on your defensive line, I don't care who they are. I'm getting my 4 yards. I'm going to get my 4 yards. The 2025 campaign, the statistics were quite offensive. Excuse the pun. Talking about offensive line that allowed 183 pressures. That's the most in the entire SEC. You know, the quarterback jersey, it just stayed very dirty. It was like, it's like our quarterbacks was at like like Ty was working at a construction site every day he came home. I ain't even gonna talk about Milrow. Oh my God. Talking about running for your life. 32 sacks last year, ranking near the bottom of the conference. The bottom, cellar dwellers. And let's not even get started about the penalties. Yeah, about 7 penalties a game, but guess what most of them came from? False starts. Not to mention the holdings. The holdings went away, but the false starts were there. Then it was a lot. And false starts, you backing me up, man. Holding, just bad technique, hand placement, all the other stuff they talk about. If your feet out of place, you're gonna reach. If you reach, you're gonna look like you're holding. It was a symphony of self-destruction. Now, let's do some math for a second. Do math for a second. Put on your thinking cap, because this is where it gets like. People look at the rushing totals, and they thought like in 2024. They said, "Oh man, we good, man. We running the ball. We ran the ball in 2024. 2024, 2,265 yards. That'd be great if that was Jam Miller with 1,200, as I always prayed. And what's the guy that went to Michigan if he had the majority of the rest of that? But no. 726 yards. Thank you, Jalen Milrow, because he was the running game. Nobody. We had. You take his numbers out. That's 1,539. A little bit over 100 yards a game. Was about 112, something like that yards a game. That's pathetic for who we talking about. And when your quarterback is the leading rusher by a country mile, and I don't know if y'all have seen. I don't know if y'all understand the song Tina Turner, Private Dancer. Used to go to these places and you could dance with women for like a dime. Yeah, that's what our running backs were. They hike the ball and then somebody runs up to greet them and they just start dancing right there in the backfield. That's how our running game look. You get hit in the backfield. Now, were our backs timid this year, inexperienced, confused by slants and stunts and what have you? I don't know, but I would be concerned. Yeah, I would be concerned if I'm in the SEC, about to knock something off. If I'm in the SEC and I'm about to run the football and I know where them butts supposed to go. That butt's supposed to be right there and this butt's supposed to be right here and the butt supposed to come off, and then them butts don't do that in the game. Yeah, it causes your eyes to play tricks on you. Now, yeah, because everybody ain't Derrick Henry. Everybody's not Bo Scarborough or Bo Jackson or Herschel Walker. Everybody's not on that. Everybody's just say, just give me the ball. What Gail Sears? All I need is 18 inches of daylight. Everybody's not Gail Sears, okay? Everybody's not. And we're talking about the best of the best of the best. There's some people that Craig Hayward, he would slam his head up in there. I don't care what Pittsburgh blocking look like. We just gonna do this. That's fine. Everybody's not that. It was just like they got away from it because I guess they couldn't trust it. And so then you got Ty here throwing the ball beautifully at one point. Then people started to say like, hey, it's not Jalen Milrow, is it? What defense can we do to really mess with Ty? We can cover him. We can definitely take care of the long stuff. No. Let's not try to run with Ryan Williams and all them or Jeremy Bernard. Let's do this. Let's send a blitz. Let's do something to pick up the short routes and make it difficult for them. And sometimes Ty won, and sometimes they lost. But he was a man by himself. I hope he does well in the NFL. Thank you, Ty, for not giving up and trying to help your teammates get to the next level, because Lord knows that offensive line could not be trusted. I watched videos from experts that break this stuff down for a living, and I saw it. I saw it. It was trash. Now, I've also seen, I can't remember what year it was. It was one of the Quandro brothers. They were talking about, these techniques may not transfer from college to pro. And here's what they meant about this. Them boys' footwork was funny, but they had other skills where they could compensate. In the NFL, compensation don't go as far. But in college, yeah, you can be out of place a little bit, still not fire somebody. If you got this, that, and the other, you make it work. So I've seen some problems, small problems. There's a plethora of problems out here. A plethora of problems. We were promised, we got used to joyless murder ball when we watched Alabama play. And to be honest, I've been watching the running game even when we couldn't pass the ball from days of Bobby Humphrey or what have you. But this right here, this is it was hard to watch. It's hard to watch. It's like watching the Steelers without a running back. I don't know what to do with that. I'm a Franco Harris person. What am I supposed to do with Pittsburgh Steelers game or Alabama Crimson Tide game? We ain't got no running game. What am I supposed to do with that? What, you don't rely on the quarterback? I don't rely on none of them. I'd rather rely on 6 and sometimes 7 than rely on 1. Well, I just don't trust him. So now that he's gone, and before I get there, let me look at this chat. It's filling up, surprising. Roll Tide, what's up? I'm kind of frustrated. I'm glad Cap is gone. Who do you think he fires next? If I had to guess, I don't know if we got anybody, because this may be it. This is the move that makes everybody else look absolutely fantastical. Oh, look at those. Oh, look at Ryan Williams. Oh, he's catching the ball. Why? Why is Ryan Richard catching the ball? Because he's not bracketed? Because they had to bring another person up in the box? Or he not getting bumped off his route by a linebacker? Because that guy's up there by the line. He's expecting that freight train. He ain't trying to catch the jet. See what I'm saying? So it's like after this, though, I'm talking the end of year 3, it's going to be Ryan Grove. Assuming you make the right coaching hire. Next message. Roll Tide, brother. Hey, that's Brock. Roll Tide, roll. What's going on with you, baby? What's going on? There was no physicality at that line. They will all be good altar boys or ushers. They couldn't be an usher in a Pentecostal church. No. It's too much movement in there. They will be good ushers in the Presbyterian church. I visited one time. Episcopalian church, probably Episcopal. They couldn't be in what they call a holiness church, or the places where, Spirit of the Lord runs free from when you run the door and they sanctified, everybody's dresses are down through the floor. No, they couldn't be. Would they get physical up in there? You could not have an offensive line working a tent revival. Huh? No. You got to put your hands on people and keep them, no. Send them to the nice, quiet little church. Everybody's whispering. Everybody. Yeah. Just say amen if you love the Lord. But down at Midway Missionary Baptist Church, now known as the House of Jubilee, they couldn't work in there, brother. But I'm telling you, when Sister Roseanne get to running and she's running with her eyes closed, I do not trust, not even Caden Proctor, to stop her from running into that Hammond, what's it called, Hammond B3 organ. She gonna knock it clean over. Not to mention the $8,000 synthesizer they used to have. No physicality at all. I'm being funny, but I'm being serious at the same time. Y'all saw it. He only had one good season. Did he though? Jalen Milroe? Jalen, I'm about to get up out of here. Oh, and look, this 700 and some yards rushing. Remember when it rained and there's the LSU game down in Louisiana. I said, well, we got to run the ball today, and they did that. What did Jalen have? Is it 4 or 5 touchdowns? That man ran for he ran, man. I was surprised they let Jalen just run back to Alabama. He ran his butt off, and I was like, oh, man, it was a great running game, but I was like, they had to run. But still, I knew something was wrong because they wouldn't run the running backs. They still never ran the running backs. Jam was hurt last year. He was hurt this year. They didn't run the running backs. They had like in the last, I don't know, since Coach Deboer has been there, I remember tracking it more often last year, but there were very few games. There have been very few games where, like, especially with Jalen Milroe, but the percentage of the running plays between Milroe and the running backs, he had more runs than the running backs did in most games. I think like 70% of those games. And then this year, it just didn't run it. Like, I don't know how I didn't really look at it that close, but I don't know how many games we went above 25 rushes. First of all, during the season, we couldn't keep the ball as much, but I had to go back and look at that, but they just didn't run the ball. And then when they ran it, just wasn't effective at all. Marcus Fitzpatrick. I was about to read that. You almost got me, but you ain't gonna get me. And you're gonna stop cussing on these tight sports airways that are protected by the FTC or the FCC and the FBI. You know, man, y'all hitting the panic button right now. Panic button. We fired our offensive line coach. Wait a minute. Didn't y'all just fire the whole staff? And then, y'all kept the defensive staff, but kept the offensive staff. And how many people did y'all bring over from USL? 165 players? No, 105 players from USL. Is that what happened? Mark this moment, Mr. Fitzpatrick, a.k.a. the mayor. Mark this point. Remember this day when you mocked the Crimson Tide with all them doggone FCS players y'all got on y'all team. They trying to pull a Signetti, y'all. Y'all pray for them. Because I don't think it's going to work. Anyway, y'all still look better than we did. Now see, king of the comments, Travell came in, he just keeping it real. Yeah, that's true, but didn't most people, just saying. I'm just saying. What is it? Everyone going to Ohio State. Yeah, including a guy, and Pittsburgh, just their offensive coordinator, who I thought was a horrible person in the pros, Arthur Smith. I think he was a coach with the Falcons. And was he the offensive coordinator with the Titans? Or he was a coach with the Titans? And I don't know. I thought he was terrible. Good luck, Ohio State. Hope that never works again. He was the best running back in the SEC. Who was that? Is that you talking about Jam? No, you're not talking about Jam. Let me know who you was talking about there, Travell. Let's see. C-spot comforters. I have to be careful I'm not reading myself into a joke or a prank or something. So, Roll Tide, good morning, everybody. I'm just up here. I don't know if I'm trapped into my house or not, but I ain't going nowhere no time soon. And Travell come back in here cussing. He said, y'all hit the like. Appreciate it, man. Y'all hit the like button. Hey, share it with your friends. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, too, if you haven't subscribed. And Milroe Belt, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. I was going to get on something else, but I'm not going to do that. Now, yeah, Oh, Jalen Milroe. Yeah. He was a devil. Yeah. They made him prove it. They gave him the ability to prove it. And the man did clock a 4.3. I gotta use it, But in that, how many times did he hit Ryan Williams? And mostly Ryan Williams down the field. Yeah, it was on that one pattern, blah, 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 but he was able to hit them where after the first half of the season, them patterns no longer exist. Matter of fact, the longest pattern I think we have is where Germany would basically go across the field and downfield about 30 yards. He would get that early, but against the better defenses, that went away. Everything was short. We looked like, check down Charlie, one-on-one up there. Let's see. My favorite. Hey, we appreciate that. We appreciate the support. Thank y'all for chiming in. And I was gonna give applause, but I this thing right here, boy, I'm gonna sue this company. But now that we got this man out the way, who's on the big board of targets? And first thing I said, man, first thing to me, I was like, Sam Pittman, man, he just retired. And I'm older now, and I try to forget how old I am. They say it's just better that way when you do that. So the first thing I said, man, let's go to the legend of the trenches. And that's legend because everybody is retired. Sam Pittman, you know what I'm saying? The legend. I didn't have a problem with his lineman and stuff up there, but they saying him and man he's retired. He retired. he had some health issues because he was a man of a certain age. He ain't coming up here. He is the most respected technician in the game, in the SEC at least. And everything came to a close for him because the Weasel helped him to weasel himself out of the job. You know who you are, Petrino. Pittman doesn't just recruit the big uglies. He turns them into first round picks. Don't turn nothing else into first round picks, but he has done well with his linemen. He has a statistical profile to go back to help. I mean, he was at Georgia 2017, had no one rushing attack. He was putting up 258 a game. And then, doing doing his first stint at Arkansas, he had the fewest sacks allowed. And, he's known for that old school toughness. And I say this right here, whatever we do, whoever we hire, I think they'll bring that man in as consultant. That's right. Reopen the doggone CCC, the Capstone Coaching Clinic. Save and open it. Let's reopen it. Bring this man in. Let him become an instructor. Let him and even our new asset, Derek Nix, let him instruct these people on what Southern blocking looks like, toughness and meanness. Now, people are bringing up the name of course, the oldie but a goodie, Sam Huff. That's their homeboy. The Seattle Connect, they saying we'll bring Sam Huff in. Then the boys be playing Bus Boys by March. Yeah, Bus Boys, the boys are back in town, But that man is busy. That man got a game tonight, by the way. Huff is a lead guitarist, man. If Kalen Deboer is singing the lead singer. I think what y'all think? Y'all think Grub played bass drum? So he played drums, or he gonna be a bassist? I'm gonna say bass. I don't know who the drummer would be. But anyway, Sam Huff is out there, man. He won that Joe Moore Award out there at Washington. They allowed 11 sacks, and that could be misleading because Michael Penix, it didn't take that man a long time to get rid of the ball, and then he would take a beating and still get rid of the ball. So they were good. But they had 7 sacks. That's good. It was an elite level security for the quarterback. He understands the offense, of course, so that'll be an easy thing to do. But the man is a tight end coach with the Rams tonight. Question is, does he want to be a tight ends coach in the pros so he can become an offensive coordinator again? And the biggest thing that scares me about him, and I'm going to go deeper into this on Around the Herd. I want to look around. I want to look at all the Joe Moore Award winners, first of all. Then I want to see who got SEC ties. I want to look at the last 2 years of rushing and see who was out there. Because I heard the guy from Michigan, I don't know his name, Michigan coach. Somebody even said something about Clemson's offensive line coach. They can name all this before Tuesday, but I want to take a look at this Tuesday on Around the Herd. You know, I go 7 Eastern, 6 Central, and look at this in particular if I have time to see who the better person would be. Like I would say, though, Sam Pittman needs to be the next instructor at the Capstone Coaching Clinic. They call it offensive consultant, whatever. Because y'all know Charlie Strong was hanging around the program. He didn't take a position, but he was like a consultant for years. While Saban was there, I was like, what's he doing? He back there teaching defense. Of course. It's Capstone Coaching Clinic. You can't have a coaching clinic without having instructors. Duh. And another name on the short list that came up real quick was Brendan Carroll. He's more of a Martin guy. You may know his daddy. They call him Pimp Daddy C, Pimp Daddy Pete. Over there at USC, you know what I'm saying? House full of grad students, allegedly. Pete, what you doing? These people can't stay here. What do you mean? These are my friends, babe. So he got that NFL pedigree, that West Coast flair. Brendan Carroll, let's see. He helped to put that Scatterboo stuff together, I think. Was it Arizona State? I don't know. But Arizona they have good passing offense in 2023, 308 yards, 8th nationally. I guess they just saying this because this guy's a villain. You look at some of the articles and they say this guy's out there, maybe he can put something together. But I don't know if we have a problem with our pass blocking. The problem with our passing game is that we can't run the ball. Now, Brendan Carroll was able to get Jordan Morgan, turn him into a first-round left tackle, but I don't know, maybe he was just born like that, born to slap people. I mean, it's serious. I mean, you know what I mean? Some people, they work at it, but they just born to slap people. You know, he coached a unit that saw, they made a 76th place improvement in their scoring offense. So they did a good job of marrying the run game to a high-octane attack. And then you had Garrett, I don't know this, Tanjay, whatever. He's at NC State. Now, we were trying to get Hollywood Smothers from NC State because why? He was number 1 back in the draft or number 2 back in the draft, and he went on to Texas. So maybe we can go get this Garrett guy. He can come put it together. 2020 at Virginia, his unit was number 1 in the ACC, number 12 nationally in tackles for loss allowed, and we had a lot of tackles for loss. 2021, he was facilitating the number 2 passing offense in the country. Then he's a guy who maximizes talent no matter how many stars they got on the roster, which I'm sick of talking about stars. I always have been. I've been sick of it before I started this show. But the mission is clear. You got to find a man who can turn these 183 pressures that we gave up last year into a memory and give the tide of a foundation to reclaim a throne, some kind of throne if it's possible, to build some kind of legacy or Deboer dynasty. We can't get nowhere because we can't get first downs running the ball on 3rd and 2s. I got my quarterback throwing balls on 4th down, 4th and shorts, real shorts. Like, let's trick them. That's how Slick had to do it. And that's how Ryan's do it. They do this, oh, we're going to fool them. Since we can't just overpower them, we're going to out-finesse them. So like for me, I say, you know, hire Sam Pittman and 2 other guys so they can teach all this SEC trench warfare, because it's a extremely treacherous facet of the game that every team must not just overcome, but championship teams must dominate each and every play. And that's the bottom line. Alabama isn't looking for a recruiter anymore. We have plenty of those. They're looking for a technician who can turn these star recruits into the first-round protectors and the crimson crushers that we expect. Now, one more thing before I get out of here. Let me turn this thing further down. I saw this came across my radar, and I was like, you know, the hate is real. The hate is real. I don't know. This guy, right, he's probably the biggest buffoon of 2026 by a long shot. He's sitting clearly in first place. Let's just take a listen to this foolishness.
First time I've ever seen publicly open tryouts. So if you're not a 5-star kid coming out of high school, but maybe you're very good, but for whatever reason, the school you played at, the town you grew up in, you're not on the radar, you can now drive down to Alabama, fly to Alabama, and get a guaranteed tryout. Alabama is now desperate. What Alabama did yesterday is desperate. Alabama announced for the first time.
All right. Okay. This. Mix up there. Before we get into the heart of the matter, we have to address the elephant in the room. Not the one on behind me, but we talk about this nonsense on the airways. Craig, cartoon, garbage. Yeah, he sounded like a man who spent too much time in the cold, man. Not enough time in the film room. All you had to do was like do a couple Google searches and you'll find out, man, this wasn't nothing brand new. This man's so green with envy that he's just salivating at the mouth just to say the Crimson Tide is doing something. They desperate now. Look at them. They desperate. He's out claiming Alabama's desperate because they holding open tryouts. Really, Craig? You're going to sit there with a straight face and call a long time, 20-year tradition desperation, except for the COVID year. I guess in your world, excellence looks like an accident. By that logic, was Nick Saban desperate? For 17 years, while he was busy turning Alabama to this historic program, you know, he was doing the same thing. You, sir, are a clown for not doing your homework. It's called a program, you know, not a panic, man. And maybe if you spent less time hating and more time researching, you wouldn't look like such a fool. Come on, man. That don't make no sense. You I got on I guess it's a regional or national program talking about somebody's desperate. You got to go check the clock, man. You just, I mean, you see something and like, oh, I know they Kool-Aid used to always be red. Now it's blue. Oh, they desperate. What? That's just crazy. If you need help, man, get help. The A stands for all ways ready, man. For the past 20 seasons, from the dawn of the Saban era to now, there's been a kind of a rhythm on the capstone, a steady heartbeat. We're talking about walk-on tryouts. I mean, I actually knew a guy who walked on during Stallings. I don't know if he got there with Stallings. Never got a scholarship. Always had to go try out for 3 years. He had to go try out. But then they say, man, just come on, man. You know you ain't getting no scholarship. Come on out here. But you know what he had when he walked into that office at Regions Bank where I worked at? He had a championship ring, baby. 6 years of blood, sweat, and tears because he went to walk-on tryouts. I don't even know if he was invited. I was like, did you do something in high school? He's like, no. I just wanted to play for the Crimson Tide. And he played for the Crimson Tide. In his last 3 years, he got to travel. Whatever. Did he get the $50, $500 handshakes? No. He took the garbage out after they ate. No, I'm just joking on that. But, but he had a great time. He got experience. He got stories to tell. But this man is talking about what happens in January, like it's some kind of breaking news. Unless you've been living on a rock or you have literally figured out a way to fool your autonomy into sticking your head all the way up your ass. If you pay attention to what's been going on, they do this every January when they're getting ready to put a scout team together. They open up the facilities. It's not a fire sale, it's a talent research. They're getting ready for spring ball. And they're just trying to see, hey, who do we want people to come? What kind of people we want to come out here? Once in the academic year, they say, hey, who want to come out and take a shot? Who wants some of this? It ain't just Texas A&M. And I guess it's easy for y'all because, you know, they put the 12th man up there and somebody out there. My wife asked, what's the 12th man? I thought it was 11 guys. I explained 12th man, blah, 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 kickoff team, all walk-ons. I guess it's easy people like Mr. Cartoon. Because that's they put it up in big letters so you can see. But you think that's the only place you can go walk on? If you're a full-time student and you got some grades and you got the physical and the heart of a lion, you get to go out there and shoot your shot, player. What is wrong with you? And you do it not just for the scout team, because sometimes lightning strikes. You ever heard the name Levi Wallace? Went from the shadows to Sunday lights. Sunday, so he's playing the NFL. Yeah! January, went out there and got his. Went on and made money. But you say people desperate. Maybe Levi was desperate to get out there and make something happen for his life and change everything around. He did that. And let's talk about right now. I just talked about last Tuesday, I think, MJ Chagrin. He went from a walk-on to a scholarship athlete. Where did he start at? Want to guess? Yeah, he had to go out there and get it done. He's been on there as a non-scholarship athlete for a while, but it starts somewhere, man. We've been doing this. Craig, get yourself together. Just lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself, Craig, and you ain't got to lie, Craig, especially to yourself. Maybe your team out here playing checkers and stuff, and y'all got cash rich. I don't know who you root for. I know that was stupid. For this to be like your full-time job, why don't you get your researchers to get a Google box and say, before I say this, put this in the Google box and make sure I got some facsimile of truth to it. Because that's crazy. Huh? Desperate?
The first time I've ever seen publicly open tryouts. So if you're not a 5-star kid coming out of high school, but maybe you're very good, but for whatever reason, the school you played at, the town you grew up in, you're not on the radar, you can now drive down to Alabama, fly to Alabama, and get a guaranteed tryout. Alabama is now desperate.
Sound like a second grade bully, man. And to the fans, I know some of y'all young. Some people I saw in the post like, I can't believe we're doing that. I'm like, what the hell? Man, wake up and smell the bride Denny grass, man. This is how champions are forged. From the scholarship stars to the guys who just want to wear the jersey for one afternoon of practice. Y'all think Rudy is the only one? Come on, man. It's part of the Crimson DNA, man. It happens from time to time. People flash, people do this. And I was just telling my wife the other day that, it's a lot of people that play 1 year high school football and go to I think in the NFL to be honest. But I'm like, come on, man. Get it together. I know some of the Alabama fans are young, they ain't got time to do all this stuff, but the comments was like agreeing with this buffoon. I held it in. It was sitting right there under my tongue. It was sitting right there, man. But anyway, enough of that foolishness. Coach Cap is moving on, and the Tide's looking for a new man to build angry monsters. Because at the end of the day, if you can't hold a line, you can't hold that championship trophy. And that's the way it is. So overall, like I said, after year 2, tweaks needed to be made. We lost Coach Shepard. That's not necessarily a good or bad thing because, like I said, we got Jerm Bernard has been built there. Well, he was kind of already built. Ryan Williams, but he left. Jamarcus Shepard, wish you the best of luck in the Pac-2. And here we have Coach Cap is gone, but like perhaps next year, if things don't improve, what is an improvement? What, 11-3? If things don't point up, click up. I mean, we went up this year, but if we don't have 12 wins and say we go back to like 9 wins or something like that, they gonna probably be looking at a coordinator. I'm thinking Ryan Grubb. I don't know what y'all thinking. They're going to point at somebody, but I'm really expecting them to move up. I'm expecting stuff because of what it looks like. Like I said, if Coach Deboer just comes up real short and year 3 tweaks don't work, year 4 comes around, it looks pretty much the same as year 1, there'll be only one soul to throw in the portal of forgetfulness. That's where he just threw Coach Cap to. Shout out to you, Cap. I'm sure you'll land on your stomach. I just want to thank y'all for coming and joining me this morning. Let's see. He's getting better. Deborah is going to be fine. Wow. That's right. You're gonna respect that man's name. But your coach is Coach Goatlick, so I get it. I want to thank y'all for joining me today. Remember to join my show, Round the Herd, live Tuesday, 7 to 7 p.m. until I stop talking. 6 p.m. Central. And I'm going to have a couple more segments coming out. I got some stuff. I'm about to release something. I got a new segment called Across the Tundra. That's me looking out across college sports. And especially, I'm looking at things that impact Alabama in some kind of way, but it's not necessarily Alabama. I just don't feel like clumping it in here with my Crimson Portal talk. I don't feel like putting it on Around the Herd because they're not that important. But there are things going on right now. I'm working on a story on that, I don't know, the legislation that Deboer is trying to pass in front of the court of public opinion. I'm like, man, if I want to hear from a dummy, I hang out at the county jails all day. Now, and the other thing, this gambling, no, was it gambling? Yeah, I told you I'm about to drop a story about the NILs and violations of anti-money laundering. Just, hey, hit subscribe, turn the like button on. I'm about to go in. I can't believe these people are so stupid. I just can't believe these people are so stupid. And then we talking about very successful men, but you're stupid when you're successful and you do things that can get you put in jail. That makes you stupid at that point. But that's all I got from now, guys. Got one more message here. You're gonna be there. That's right. You're gonna be there. You're gonna apologize for Coach Goatlick. Anyway, that's all I got right now, guys. Always remember, roll tide, roll.